Boxing has always been a sport where legends are born out of chaos. Mike Tyson, known as Iron Mike, changed the sport forever with his vicious knockouts, his ferocity, and his terrifying aura inside the ring. For decades, fans and analysts believed no one could ever replicate that same raw power, that same sense of danger, that same mix of speed and violence. But today, a new name is echoing across the boxing world, sending shivers down the spine of every heavyweight prospect alive: Moses Itauma. They call him the next Mike Tyson, not as a lazy comparison, but because he truly embodies the ruthless qualities of the youngest heavyweight champion the world has ever seen. But what makes this young fighter so different? Why has he captured the imagination of the boxing world in such a short span of time? And most importantly, could he really become the man to resurrect the Tyson-like fear factor in boxing? This is not just a story of a young boxer. This is a shocking, dramatic, and unbelievable tale of a fighter who may very well redefine the future of the heavyweight division. Moses Itauma was born in Kent, England in December 2004. From the moment he was introduced to the sport, his coaches realized he was something extraordinary. Unlike most kids who struggled to pick up technique, Moses possessed a natural fluidity, explosiveness, and confidence that was rare for someone his age. By the time he was just 10 years old, he was already demolishing kids much older than him in sparring, showing signs of natural knockout power. The shocking part? He didn't just love fighting, he seemed to thrive in it. Where other kids might shy away from heavy punches, Moses walked through them like they were nothing. That unshakable fearlessness drew immediate comparisons to Mike Tyson, who also began boxing young and showed a savage instinct far beyond his years. Most people don't realize that Moses Itauma had one of the most jaw-dropping amateur careers ever recorded for a British heavyweight prospect. By the age of 17, he was already a two-time European gold medalist, dominating his opponents with frightening ease. In fact, he was undefeated in his entire amateur career, a statistic that puts him in the conversation with some of the greatest amateurs ever. And here's the part that shocks everyone. He wasn't just beating opponents, he was dismantling them in seconds. Reports from his amateur fights describe him knocking kids out cold with single punches, sometimes ending fights in less than 30 seconds. That type of destruction is what made people whisper, "This is the next Tyson." When most boxers are still figuring out their careers, Moses Itauma made history. At just 18 years old, he turned professional under Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions in January 2023. And he didn't waste any time making headlines. His professional debut lasted only 23 seconds. Yes, you heard that right. Moses Itauma ended his very first professional fight in less than half a minute, landing a thunderous left hand that folded his opponent instantly. That moment was more than just a win, it was a statement. Tyson himself had made his debut in similar fashion, blasting opponents out in seconds. The comparison was unavoidable, and the legend of Moses Itauma grew instantly. People don't just throw around the next Tyson label lightly. There have been many heavyweights hyped in the past who never lived up to expectations. But Moses Itauma carries traits eerily similar to Tyson that make the comparison legitimate. Like Tyson, Itauma closes distance with frightening speed for a heavyweight. He doesn't plod forward, he explodes. His punches carry knockout power even at a young age, and insiders claim his sparring knockouts are legendary. Tyson was known for finishing fights the moment he saw weakness. Itauma has the same instinct. When he hurts someone, he never lets them recover. Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion at 20. Itauma is already smashing opponents at 18, setting himself up to potentially break that record. Here's something the casual fan doesn't know. Moses Itauma has already sparred some of the top heavyweights in the world, and the reports are shocking. Rumors suggest that during sparring sessions, he has rocked, dropped, or outright dominated world-class fighters who are years older and far more experienced. Coaches who witnessed those sessions left convinced that Moses is destined to be a world champion. This is where the Tyson comparison becomes chilling. Tyson was also famous for brutal sparring sessions where he would destroy seasoned professionals while still a teenager. Moses seems to be following the exact same path. From the first time Moses stepped into a proper boxing gym, there was an undeniable aura around him. Trainers who had worked with dozens of amateurs said they had never seen such raw power in a teenager. At only 14, he was already breaking punching bags, ripping leather with a ferocity that made grown men step back. Some coaches even joked that they needed new equipment just for Moses because the bags couldn't withstand the punishment. Stories like this quickly spread in British boxing circles, and whispers began, "We might be looking at the next Tyson." What most fans don't realize is that Moses wasn't alone in this journey. His older brother, Itauma, is also a professional boxer, and the two grew up pushing each other to be better. Being more experienced, acted as both a mentor and a sparring partner. Imagine sparring your own brother every day in the living room or in the gym, iron sharpening iron. This relentless sibling rivalry molded Moses into a fighter who never backed down, no matter the opponent. People close to them say the Itauma brothers trained like their lives depended on it. This environment was crucial in shaping the fearless, hungry warrior Moses has become. One of the most overlooked aspects of Moses Itauma is his presence in the ring. Before the first punch is even thrown, he carries an intensity that makes opponents uncomfortable. Fans who've witnessed his fights live describe the same thing: the cold, piercing stare. It reminds everyone of Tyson's legendary walk to the ring. No music, no flash, just intimidation. When Moses locks eyes with his opponent, you can almost see their confidence drain. This psychological warfare gives him an edge that statistics can't measure. It's not just the fists that break opponents, it's the aura of inevitability. By the age of 15, Moses had already achieved what many boxers spend an entire career chasing. He racked up wins at international tournaments, dominating older, more experienced fighters. His amateur record looked unreal. Victories across multiple competitions, showcasing both skill and raw aggression. The shocking part? He often barely celebrated after winning. Just like Tyson in his youth, Moses carried himself as if victory was expected, not earned. Fans and scouts began calling him a once-in-a-lifetime prospect, and promoters started fighting to secure his signature before he even turned pro. Behind the scenes, whispers from sparring sessions started to leak out. Established heavyweights who shared the ring with Moses admitted they underestimated him until they felt his punches. There were reports of seasoned fighters avoiding future sparring sessions after one round with the teenage phenom. Some trainers compared the experience to being hit with a sledgehammer by someone twice his age. These stories fueled the legend of Moses Itauma, painting him as not just a prospect, but a threat to grown men already at the top of the game. Moses didn't just win fights, he ended them brutally fast. His knockout victories, some coming within the first 20 or 30 seconds, were eerily reminiscent of Mike Tyson's destruction in the 1980s. The way he lunged forward, exploding with left hooks and uppercuts, left fans in disbelief. Social media blew up every time he stepped into the ring, with highlight reels going viral. His reputation grew. If you blink, you might miss the entire fight. This explosive unpredictability made him one of the most talked about young boxers in the world. Moses Itauma has already made history by becoming one of the youngest fighters to dominate the amateur scene and then transition into the professional ranks with hype levels rarely seen in British boxing. He captured gold medals in major youth tournaments, representing England with pride, and brought home accolades that made international boxing federations take notice. His ability to carry not just his family's name, but the expectations of an entire nation speaks volumes about his composure under pressure. What's shocking is that these are just his early achievements. For most boxers, such accolades would define a career. For Moses, they are only the beginning. Journalists, analysts, and former boxers don't throw around comparisons to Mike Tyson lightly, but with Moses, the similarities are too strong to ignore. Both were teenage prodigies with insane knockout power. Both carried a fearless aura into the ring. Both had backgrounds shaped by hardship and relentless training. And both had the ability to end a fight before commentators could finish their introductions. The shocking part is many insiders believe Moses might actually surpass Tyson if he continues this trajectory, because unlike Tyson, Moses has the benefit of learning from history, avoiding past mistakes, and staying grounded.